Hi guys, and welcome to Creative Cakes by Sharon. Today I'm making a Pitch Perfect 3 inspired cake. It's based on one of the outfits the girls wore during the movie, so let's get started. To start with, I used 3 8-inch round cakes for the bottom tier and simply stacked them up with some white chocolate ganache. After applying a crumb coat, I started to add more ganache for the top coat. I always add more than I need in this step because most of it will be scraped off. However, until I do that, I have to admit it does look kind of ugly because it's so lumpy and bumpy. Then, using a scraper positioned at right angles to the cake and resting on the bottom, I carefully spin the turntable, and as you can see, all the excess ganache easily comes away. If there are any gaps, it's easy enough to fill them and then scrape over once again. A quick tip here guys for you is that the faster you can spin the cake around, the smoother your ganache result will be. Lastly, I just scraped off the excess which was on the top by bringing it into the centre. So now onto the top tier. I basically just followed the same steps. This time though I used 3 6-inch cakes. Guys, if you're new to my channel, welcome and thanks for tuning in. I make all sorts of creative cakes, so be sure you hit the subscribe button so you're the first to see my new videos each week. At this point, I brush the top tier with some simple syrup, not too much, just enough to make the ganache nice and tacky for the fondant to stick to. And after I rolled out some white fondant, I carefully draped it over the cake. I then slowly started to open up the pleats and smooth the fondant down. And then I like to use a smoother to really press the fondant down at the bottom, creating a nice tight seal between the board and the bottom of the cake. It's then very simple to trim away the excess. For the bottom tier, I wanted to use a really dark denim colour, so I mixed equal parts of royal blue and black fondant together, and it turned out the perfect shade. I generally like to keep the bottom edges of my cakes plain, but today I wanted to show you that if you don't feel your edge is neat enough to be left alone, you can always simply add a ribbon to cover up any tiny flaws and it still looks just as good. Once both tiers were covered, I used some bubble straws to dowel the cake and stuck the top tier down using a little ganache to keep it in place. To create the red stripes, I use this really cool cutter that gives me multiple strips which are all equally sized. I positioned the bottom stripe first and then the top stripe, and this helped to create a border, and then I just carefully eyeballed the 2 middle strips in place. I added a nice feminine touch by making a kind of a bow or a tie, just cutting out 2 E-shaped pieces of fondant and creating a crease in them. And then I made a kind of knot using 2 strips of fondant, then stuck all the pieces into place. Now I really wanted to add some bling to this cake, so I added strips of Diamantes. Of course guys, these are not edible, they're just decorative, but they really do set the cake off. And that was it. A very cool looking cake that you could make for any occasion, particularly for a Pitch Perfect fan and inspired by Pitch Perfect 3 movie. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of my creative cakes. I hope you tune in next time, guys, and thanks for watching.